Yeah, hi there. And these comments are for one of my students in TOEFL Level 6. I'm looking at your essay here, right? And I think we got some trouble. We have some trouble with this writing, right? So I'm going to show you some things that you can do to make it better. So let's take a look at your paragraph. See, according to the reading and the writing passage, the author is talking about the difference of being a blogger and a writer. So we need to explain this in a little more detail. Yeah, I'm gonna rewrite this first paragraph so that it incorporates the three main claims from the reading passage, and then the second part of my sentence more explicitly shows what the relationship is with the lecture. So you're not quite getting the main points here, and of course, if you don't get the main points, you're not going to get anything. So it's going to be trouble. So I rewrote it to say the reading passage claims that bloggers do not have professionalism, they lack integrity, and they do not have in-depth writing. However, the speaker challenges each of those assertions. You see what we're saying? So I think this better shows how the ideas in the reading and the lecture are, how they're connected. Now, the problem here in this paragraph, we don't know. We don't know if this is coming from the reading passage. We don't know if it's coming from the lecture. We have no idea what's going on. So this is a mess. You must use voice markers. This is not an option. Remember that you're entering the academic discourse community of writing. And just because you're new, it doesn't mean that you can create new rules and things. You have to kind of get used to the patterns of organization and writing that we've already established. And that's how you become part of the conversation, right? So I'm going to take what you wrote and reorganize it and show you some things that you can do here. All right, let's take a look at your paragraph here, and then I will show you what changes I made. You said, first of all, bloggers can create any topic they want, from opinion, literature to food. The topic is unlimited. However, comparing to the journalist and the author of book or article, blogger usually lack of professionalism, integrity, and in-depth discourse. To be a journalist or the writer of the book, attending college and getting an internship is the basic standard. Some people will think about true author as published. Therefore, they usually have a high level of professionalism. Based on the listening session, we have the blog can become a business and create a great market. So the problem here is you're trying to put all three main points from the reading and the lecture in the same paragraph. That's not a good strategy. You should only be focusing on reading point one and then listening point one. So this paragraph is going to do nothing but lower your score. This is what you do not want to do. Okay, so let's take a look at my revision. Okay, hold on a quick second. Okay, got it. So here's what I wrote. First of all, the author in the reading passage claims that bloggers lack professionalism because they do not have the same type of writing education that journalists and authors have. Instead, bloggers can put together a website and start publishing articles. So what did I do here? The only thing that I did in the beginning there is I only talked about this second paragraph in the reading. Now let's take a look here. In contrast, the speaker asserts that there are different views regarding professionalism and that bloggers can make a name for themselves as they begin publishing articles online to become part of the writing community. Right? So what did I do here? Basically, I went to the lecture. I went to this second paragraph in the lecture, and I included a summary of those ideas right here. That's it. So you're making things too complicated. So let's recap what you're trying to do. In the second paragraph, you should only be discussing the main point of the reading passage. Then you want to contrast that with the first point in the listening passage. When we move on to the next paragraph, you say second, becoming bloggers, a resume is not required. No, the second idea is integrity. This is what you want to be focusing on, is that according to the reading passage, bloggers do not have the integrity that authors and journalists have. That's what should be the key point here. The last one you put is in-depth discourse. That is good. That's definitely the key point. And there's a criticism regarding the in-depth discourse of bloggers according to the reading passage, but then the lecture challenges that assumption. Okay? Now I'm looking at the actual rubrics that I'm using to grade this writing. And because this is a practice test, of course, I'm going to give you full credit in Blackboard for having done the assignment. However, if this had been the midterm exam, you would have received, or if this were, you would receive, let me take a look at it. Yeah, not very good. I'm going to be honest with you. So we got trouble. So I'm going to put you at about 2.5 here out of 5, 17 points out of 30, primarily inadequate organization and connection of ideas. So it isn't clear how the information in the reading is connecting to the information in the listening. You weren't able to show that relationship. However, I showed you what you can do in your revision. I revised the paragraph to show you how you can make that better. Okay, so your score here, a 2.5, this would give you a 70% for this assignment. Now, the good news is this. For the most part, you actually have pretty good control over your language use, which means you don't have any major, really serious problems with your word, your vocabulary, or your grammar. So that's a good thing, but you do need to restructure your ideas in a way that explicitly shows the relationship of the different points from the reading and the lecture in those body paragraphs, number 2, 3, and 4. So once you figure out how to organize it, I think that you'll score much higher, but for right now, you don't want a score of 70. This is what you don't want. Okay, so there are some things at my website you can do. There are some specific things you can do that will help you improve, right? So let's go to the writing part of my course here. Okay, I'm looking at it right now. So the first thing is writing lesson number 8, how to make your writing more coherent. You went through the lesson and you took the quiz, but I still don't think you have mastered the information in this lesson. So particularly pay attention to the area it talks about using transition words to help show the connection of ideas. And what you want to realize is in the integrated writing that we're going to be doing, you need to use transition words of contrast, especially once you've talked about the important point in a reading passage and then you move to the lecture. You need to have a good transition word of contrast in between those two things to show the relationship of ideas. So check out that writing lesson number 8. That's a good one for you right now. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, let's take a look at the integrated writing task. You can take a look at lesson number 9 one more time and review that. I think that's going to be good for you. Question number 11, or lesson number 11. 10 questions, answers about the integrated writing. I think lesson 12 is good. Quoting, paraphrasing, and summarizing during the integrated writing task. And then lesson 12.2, paraphrasing with voice markers. I also think is a good lesson for you. All right, so those are some things you want to do before you take the midterm exam. This is an emergency. You need to figure out how to organize this type of writing, or it's going to be trouble when you take this midterm exam here in a week or so. All right, and thank you for doing the assignment.